have as eternal divine beings. My guest today is from Bangalore, India. Welcome, Bhagyalaksmi Murali. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Right. So Bhagyalaksmi is a certified life coach and an alternative healer as well. She's a certified access consciousness facilitator plus a certified TTTE facilitator. So TTTE stands for Talk to the Entities. Bhagyalaksmi helps people with a whole range of life problems, covering money problem, relationship problem, and health problem. So for today, we will be focusing on the subject of health. Before we get into that, tell us how you ended up doing this wonderful work. I mean, you have a master's degree in English literature plus a degree in education. How did you transition from academia to alternative healing? Please.
What a wonderful question. Thank you so much for this question. It makes a lot of sense considering that there has been a switching of tracks on my part from academics to alternative healing. My husband Murali used to be in the pharmaceutical industry. He was there for a quarter of a century, and then he said, I'm sick of the sickness industry. I want to be a part of the wellness industry. And so we started exploring modalities, various alternative healing modalities. And our son was at that time only about 9 years old. And he would want to be a part of whatever it is that we were learning. So we learned and we grew as a family. What Murali and I went round and came, he sort of went straight. And so it was like this, that there was always a knowing that there has to be something better. This kind of suffering and this kind of trauma was not actually what we were meant to be experiencing on this planet. And if you look at our scriptures, the ancient scriptures talk of people living over 100 years in good health. They could still take a walnut and bite it and break it open with their teeth. You know, so health was never really an issue with people who lived in the earlier times. So then why has it become like an epidemic, like a way of life? Everybody has to have some health problem. So sometimes when people look at me, I'm now 67 and Murali is exactly 8 months older than I am, my husband. So when they look at us and the gray hair, they say, oh, you must be retired. You must be retired.
Oh, gosh. So I couldn't be busier now, right?
Yeah, I tell them I'm neither tired nor am I retired. And that's not what I choose to do anyway, because there is so much that I have gleaned over a period of decades, you know, through learning, through investment in these modalities and the books and the books and the books. So I would like to pass this on to people and hand to them as if on a platter some of the things that I have learned so that their lives can be healthier and happier as well. So that is probably the reason why I am still here doing this work. It would have been probably easy to sit in a rocking chair, you know, guzzling tea. No. Yeah. So then so I was in the academic field for about 20 years and we were learning alongside what we were doing. So after I quit my job, what was learned to help me help us, then became something that I could help others with also. That's how it happened.
Oh,
It
thank
happened
you.
quite naturally, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about this project called Extreme Self-Care 365. Now, I had a look at your website, and it sounds fascinating, where you help participants to incorporate self-care into their life through gently shifting their focus to the self. How is that in practical terms? Tell us more.
When we talk about self-care, there is this misinterpretation and misunderstanding of the word itself. That it means that you are selfish, you're obsessed with yourself. And that is not generosity of spirit. You should be doing for others, not for yourself.
Yes, this idea of sacrifice is a bit
true. But it is when you take good care of yourself, you are in a position to then help others and take care of them. Like we hear people tell when we are flying that in case of an emergency, you put your own mask first and then you go to help others. So this is my dream project, Carrie. The Extreme Self-Care 365 is my dream project because I've been wanting to do this for decades. But you know how it is later. I'll get this done later. I'll do that later. Yes. So about 4 years ago, I realized that now is the later that I was talking about. And so I invited a few people that I know and asked them whether they would be interested in taking care of themselves. We're not just talking about taking care, we're talking about extreme self-care, which means taking care of yourself in a way that you have never, ever considered before.
So your members have been with you for years then? It's not like a short-term course or...
Actually, it started with the intention of keeping it for 365 days. Wow. But once that got over, nobody wanted to leave.
Wow, fantastic.
They said, look, you know, what we started with has changed so much for us. It has brought so much ease to us on every level that could we please continue with this? Because it's not just the body, the mind, body, spirit, your emotional state, everything is covered there. So then it is not just the physical body that we're talking about. So the people who joined me then, now it is their 4th year and they're still, none of them want to leave. Because it is like this, you have chosen a new way of being. But you can't say like, okay, so I've learned to breathe well, consciously. And I need not do it anymore. I've learned that. It's not about that. It's more about application. You apply, like Albert Einstein said, applied knowledge is wisdom. So then we are looking at every aspect of our life, and some of them have gained so much from this that then they spoke to others about it. And so we have like 2 or 3 groups of people working. And every morning I send them a few assignments for the day, something to motivate them and keep them on track. It is probably one of the first things I do when I wake up. And it was one of the participants in the first group said, Ma, I mean, they all call me Ma, okay? It's an interesting thing. I've become Ma to many people all over the world. And it's a privilege that I so enjoy. So he said, Ma, these are not assignments. This is so much fun. So we should call it fun assignment. So that's what we call it.
Okay. So does it take a lot of time if someone wants to sign up for this program?
No. Not a lot of time during the day as it is. It's over a period of a year, but it doesn't take much time. As in like sitting quietly by yourself for about 5 minutes.
Wow, that's doable, you know.
Yes. And then what about the water you drink? How much? Are you aware of your thirst?
So is it like a
And-
practice of mindfulness? So this is a
Yes.
branch of meditation. Okay.
No, it is being more present as you go through your day.
Okay.
It is about taking care of the mind, because as above, so below.
Yes.
So taking care of being aware of your thoughts, checking whether those are really yours, choosing to function differently by asking questions, which is a part of access consciousness. Like, you be the
Right.
energy of the question.
Right.
Don't make statements, don't make conclusions, because you're a powerful creator. So when you make that statement, you actually create it. So then those habits that we have grown up with, and which over a period of decades have been with us almost like concrete now, they don't go overnight. And even if we do it for about 21 days, you do it because you have to. You signed up for 21 days, but the 22nd, 23rd days, well, I'll do it tomorrow. Like I say, we make time for whatever we really want to do. And for the rest of them, there are endless excuses. So even before people join the group work, I ask them, are you willing to commit to yourself? Are you willing to do it for yourself so that your future can be better? So it's not a lot of work, but it requires you to put all of your attention and energy on that. Like when you're eating, you will do hundreds of things during the day. That's what you do anyway, lots of things. But whatever you do, when you're doing that, just do that. It's like when you're, like what you spoke about, mindfulness. Yeah. So when you're eating, just eat. When you're drinking water, just sip water and do it gratefully.
Yes.
Because that water has tremendous power to go and help your insides
That is so
in
true.
ways that
I
you
see
don't
what
even
you mean.
realize.
I know.
So then every day there is some work that goes.
Yeah.
And then once a month we meet on Zoom like this.
Okay.
For questions, and like people have feedback to give and what has changed for them and things like that. So it's actually, it's bringing the best out of everybody without any pressure.
Right.
Because we have a whole year to work on this.
Wow,
So
whole
it's
year program. I mean, the moment you hear what a 365 days program, it feels like a marathon, isn't it?
It does. It seems like that, but when you actually are doing it, you see the changes that you experience.
Yes.
At all levels. So then when you see the results, you want to do more.
That is so true.
There was one person from UK who did, and a couple of them from the US. That's one of the groups that finished work, and then they said they would continue with it on their own, which I love actually.
Yeah.
Taking responsibility for yourself
exactly right.
is wonderful. So that was, but most of them are from this country, my country.
So
but
then,
there have been people from other countries also.
So is that conducted? I know it's over Zoom, but is it in English language or in Hindi?
Yes, English.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, that shouldn't be a barrier then. I thought, like, if it's just a local language, then that could be an issue, wouldn't it?
No. So what happens when we say me time? It is the willingness to go within and connect with ourselves. Most of us are disconnected from our own selves. Forget about connecting with other people. True. That's when I said, that we are disconnected from ourselves. Now, so disconnected that we don't know when we are thirsty. We don't even realize we are thirsty. There was a doctor, I think he was from Iran. I don't think he's there anymore.
Mm.
And he had a long name starting from B, which I don't recollect at this time.
Mm.
But during the Iran-Iraq war, he was imprisoned. And he didn't have anything with him, not even a stethoscope.
Mm.
But prisoners there knew that he was a doctor. So he would they would all come to him.
Mm.
And he would do whatever best he could. So once there was somebody who came with extreme pain, abdominal pain.
Mm.
And he just asked him to drink water. I mean, there was nothing else he could do.
Not many
But
choices
he
there,
asked
yeah.
him to drink water. And the man became all right. So he
Mm.
has written a book. And it's an interesting book. He calls it The Body's Many Cries for Water. And what it means is that we have so become desensitized to our body and its requirements and needs that we ignore it or override it. Either we ignore it or we override it. So what happens is when the body is actually hungry, when it is actually thirsty,
Yeah.
it pretends to be hungry. Why? Because after people eat something, they usually drink some water.
Oh my gosh, it becomes clever. It's like manipulating you. So
Yeah,
that
it
you
has to.
Oh,
It has to for survival. It is important. Every one of those trillions of cells in the body need to be hydrated.
Gosh,
So
that makes life so simple. If water is all we need, really, the essence of
water has the capacity to heal, in the sense that if I drink a glass of water, it becomes bhagya. If you drink a glass of water, it becomes kari. It becomes us. So then what we are being, suppose somebody is functioning from gratitude, so then that's what it's going to become. And that's how it's going to help. The idea that, the simple things of life that we have chosen to ignore are costing us so much.
Oh, wow.
So in this reality that we have chosen to come as human beings, everything that we need is for the body. The money, the house, the clothes, the car, everything is for the body. Does the soul require any of this? No, it doesn't. So if everything is for the body and the body itself is not taken care of, then why would it require anything else? Why would it matter whether somebody had money or not? Because somebody can have money, but if they do not have health, will they be able to enjoy that? So long ago when I was teaching, there was a play that I had to teach. And in that, there was a sentence that I have never forgotten.
What is it?
And in that, the priest is telling the thief, remember, my son, that the body is the temple of the living God.
Oh my gosh. I think I've heard something similar said before. Yeah.
So then when we nurture the body, give it what it requires, fresh fruits, vegetables, greens, roughage that it requires, and it is in good health, then we are able to do more. We are happier people. We are able to create more, generate more, create wealth. But without health, what can we do?
Yeah, but I also like to add that, do we really need to spend a lot of money on supplements and vitamins and things to nourish the body, though?
No, that has become the fad now. Somewhere there is a belief that that is what will help. Everything has to be like a pill. You don't need to chew that, right? If it's a salad, if it's fruits or vegetables and food, you have to chew. People don't want to do anything. If you can do something for me, I'd rather you do it than I do it myself. So making course corrections. See, the body is in its wisdom, is willing to make things change if we give it what it requires.
Yeah.
Right? At any given moment in time, no matter what is going on, when you begin to take care of it, then it responds to the best it can. Considering how much it has been abused, it still makes an effort.
Yes. The body certainly.
So when we say extreme self-care, I don't just mean this one thing and you forget something. It is your food, your water, your sleep, your rest, your movement, or being present and happy and smiling more, so that your body knows that you're happy. Okay, we need to. So there are so many habits then that fall off because we are creating new habits. But it's an old habit, so it will go bit by bit only.
Yeah.
It's a habit.
But there is a lot of truth in that. You are creating what the neurologist says, the new neural pathway, rewiring the mind, and creating more positive habitual patterns, dropping the old patterns. And when you are stuck in an old pattern that is not helpful, you're not even aware. So you're unconsciously doing the same thing over and over again,
while expecting some different result.
Yes. So you have clients of all ages when you do your alternative healing work, and they come to you with all kinds of health problems. Some could be more chronic than others. Is there a predominant theme that as to the root cause of most illnesses that you realize or discover?
Yes. Invariably, it is stress.
Stress comes in all kinds of, in all areas.
So the body was meant to be at ease. The mind and the body were meant to be at ease. So when it is not at ease, there is dis-ease. And what happens is the reptilian brain is still there, right? So the fight or flight response, freeze, okay?
Yeah.
Fight, flight, or freeze response is still there. But then there are no tigers, no lions, no bears to fight with. But the imagined or the expected problem, what if that happens? What if something goes wrong? We have to generate the worst case scenarios so that we can cope with them. So then that is actually creation. So sometimes people say, I thought it would happen like that, and it did. What if it happened because you thought? It's like putting the cart before the horse. What comes first? Your thought, then your feelings, your emotions, your reactions, then more of the same thing. It's like a vicious cycle. So then it's like befriending your own body and allowing it to thrive. And when it thrives, we thrive. So that is why I do believe that health is our greatest wealth. And when we have that, we can do anything. Without that, what can we do? Not much. Not much at all.
And it begins with the thought, isn't it? By the time we experience it in our body, that's already the effect.
Yes.
And then we start fixing the body. When I understand now with energy healing and alternative healing, they go to the root cause, which could be a thinking pattern, which could be, something emotional.
So what happens, this trauma that we experience is in the cells of the body, that part of the body experienced trauma. So that becomes a cellular memory. Now cells die and new ones are born. but it's like running a relay race. The dying cell will pass on all of that information to the new cell that is being born. So it's going to continue the same pattern. It becomes a recurring pattern. So then when we begin to clear all this, then we make space for ease, more peace, more gratitude, more presence, more joy. And from that space, there is well-being at all levels. So this was my dream, to share it with people so that their lives would be happier and healthier. And of course, then wealthier also.
Yeah.
So it has been an adventure, a fun adventure for me.
And long may it last.
Thank you.
And so we've come
Thank you.
almost to the end of the show. And, there's just so much I want to find out more. Oh, I'm so glad. So before we close, then, I'd like you to offer a takeaway for the viewers who may be struggling with persistent health issues, because I know a few people who just find no resolution, one thing after another, or they may know someone who is in that situation. What are some practical steps they can take without signing for a 365-day program to return to health and well-being? What would be like day to day? What can you remind them so that they come back to that presence?
What if we could remember that this is the only body we're going to have in this lifetime? You can't go shopping for another one. So you might as well take good care of that. Because
that's true.
It is working for you day in and day out without rest. So for that kind of a contribution that comes from our bodies, what can we be? How much more can we honor this body of ours and remain healthy, so that it becomes easier for us and our bodies also, because ultimately the body has to pay the price for all our negligence, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the abuse that we don't even realize that we are doing.
Yeah.
The body has to pay the price.
Yeah.
But then when it does, so do we. So we have come into this reality with these bodies for a reason. There is a purpose to it as to why we are here. And when we allow ourselves to work with the body, with the mind, with our souls, with ourselves, then that is when we become the unique beings that we came here to be. Otherwise, the obsession with ill health or the distress with all the stress or the financial issues or whatever it is consumes so much of our time and energy that we forget why we are here at all. What would it be like to remember it?
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to realize that you're your own best friend. Always.
Back to the self, back to home. That's where the home, that is your connection to source. It's here in the silence. All very sensible. Thank you so much. I've left Bhagyalaksmi website address in the description box below. If you're curious about her work and would like to participate in her projects. We haven't even talked about that hope projects you were talking about, and I wanted you to expand on that, but that would be something we can talk about in our next meeting. Can you just very quickly tell us what this HOPE project that you are involved in?
Yes. So this is something that my son and we've been doing for more than almost half a dozen years. Wow. So on the first Sunday of every month at 8 o'clock our time, which is maybe 3:30 around 3:30 your time, we get together with people who are free and who would like to, and we work on ourselves. HOPE stands for honoring our precious earth, because the same elements that are there in the earth are also in us. So actually, there is no separation. The earth is always giving to us, always, whether it is the air, the water, the food, whatever it is, it comes from the earth. But we don't realize that we are also contributing to the earth all the time. So whatever energy we choose to be, that is what we are giving to her. So if you're angry, that is what you're passing on.
Very true.
If you're sad, that is what you're passing on to her. If you're happy, that is what you're contributing to her. And laughter heals.
Yes.
So when you laugh and be happy, then that is what you're contributing to her. So there is this simultaneity of gifting and receiving that is constantly happening. So when we honor ourselves, when we become the best versions of who we are, then that is what we are contributing to the earth. So that is what we do. It's a free call. Anybody from anywhere can join. The link is on my timeline.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm sure lots of people will have a look and want to give this a go. It makes it sound very powerful, that we are all connected, and it creates a ripple effect.
And the recordings of those hope calls are available at Be Empowered Now on YouTube, which is our channel. Because it's a Sunday evening. So sometimes people are not able to join, but they ask for recordings.
Okay.
Because I do a meditation at the end of it and things like that. So Vivek does separately put the time. I read stories to people also sometimes, which are
I gotta check it out. Please check it out. So I'm gonna leave those YouTube details and Bhagyalakshmi's website, which has tons more information that I haven't really explained it very well enough. But on that positive note, thank you, Bhagya, for sharing your wisdom and your presence. I really appreciate your time.
I am so grateful that you allowed me to be a part of your show. And I'm so grateful to you for starting something like this.
Oh, thank you.
Nokia is not the only one connecting people. You're doing that so beautifully yourself.
Thank you
and
so
with
much.
So much of generosity of spirit. It's just your desire to be a contribution, and for which I'm extremely grateful to you. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Bye for now. Thank you.